Oh, hey there. Welcome back to the Open Hearts Book Club. And thanks for joining us for this extra special Valentine's Day episode. I'm your co host, Sadi.
And I'm your co-host, Steph.
And like I said before, we've tried really hard to do kind of like a fun and sultry intro. It was really hard for us, though.
You know how our vibe is sexy and sultry and not women screaming.
Lightest. But yeah, so this week's episode, we're going to be talking about a bunch of interesting Valentine's Day, like Kindle Unlimited novels that we took it upon ourselves to read. We went through, we picked out the most Valentine specific ones. So either the story revolves around Valentine's Day itself, or it's about like Cupid. Read all of them, and we're going to kind of go through and discuss it with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
4 whole books. I mean, books. Some of them are
5.
Like,
One was a sequel. One was a sequel.
We did get into a sequel.
Which was not originally discussed that we were going to do, but then Steph really liked the first one.
I read the first one out loud to Sadi.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it was a bonding experience. I definitely wanted to hear Steph describe so much graphic sex.
Yeah.
Going into this, I know, speaking of which, a lot of the books that we've read so far haven't had super explicit graphic sex.
Yeah.
Like, they've had sex scenes for sure.
Or if they do it, it's like more brief.
Yeah.
These are just smut books.
Yeah, this was just like it's a smutty Valentine's Day episode. So you're gonna hear a lot of like his dingus, her
He's
vagubba.
doinking her in the vagubba.
Yeah, not that we don't have to worry about getting demonetized at this point, but just knowing us, like there's a compilation video in the future of just every time Steph uses an alternative word instead of just penis, vagina.
Pinar.
Yeah. So we're gonna start off with our first book.
Okay.
1-800-Cupid is about a young gentleman who creates an app where you get to rent a boyfriend. I'm not going to keep doing the sultry voice, but yeah, you get to rent a boyfriend. So our main character's sister is getting married this weekend. I believe Valentine's weekend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Valentine's Day weekend. And her sister really does not want her to not have a date to her wedding. So because our main character is so busy, she's in grad school, she's studying so much, she decides to use this 1-800 this whatever this app is called, iCupid or what it might be.
Yeah.
iDate, I think is what you had said earlier. But iDate to essentially like rent out a boyfriend for the weekend. She meets up with him, and it turns out that they actually have a lot of chemistry and they actually do really like each other. On his end, he's the developer of this app, but also his friends were like, you are single and you never go out, so like you should try the app out yourself, like be one of your own consumers. And so there's like a kind of slight worry on her end of like, well, I'm paying him, like does he even really like me?
Yeah. And her keeping like, I gotta focus on my studies.
And he's like immediately smitten with her, and it's just them kind of going through her sister's wedding weekend together and falling in love, which is really sweet. All right, what do you think of 1-800-Cupid?
It was definitely my favorite out of all of the ones that we read. And even though it's my favorite, I think I gave it a 2 out of 5. So I guess keep that in mind. I really, before it got into the smut portion, I actually really liked it. I kind of read like a cheesy 90s like rom-com.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is really like fun and silly. I also did like believe the chemistry between the two of them. So I thought that was like fun. And he was very charming. And him acting, I was like, this is like a good male love interest. And then the wedding happened, and it was just like so fast. And I was like, I feel like I haven't gotten like, I wanted more of them, like cute little moments of them at the wedding, and instead all that happens is they like go in a closet basically. And then when they really get to later in the book, I thought it was just so bad the way that it wasn't even like the actual sex itself. It was just like more the way that it was written.
Yeah.
There was a point where there was like, it was like within a paragraph and a half, she had said, he chuckled. I'm like, why is he chuckling so much?
That.
Why is he laughing so much?
Oh my God.
This?
Well, I remember that because I was just thinking about like Bridgerton and how like I like that they have kind of like a cutesy dynamic, like even when they're being like sweet to each other, like he still manages to be playful.
Yes.
And then I had read 1-800-Cupid this morning, and and was like, why is he laughing so much?
Why
is he laughing so much? Like, I like that. I think that's good. Like,
Yeah.
if you have a banter, like a playful banter outside of it,
Yeah.
there should be some element of that still. But it really felt like he's like, ha ha ha, we're
like, he's about to like go down on her, and he's like, ha 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 ha.
After a
Hey,
while,
calm down.
If
Hey,
I was her,
calm
I'd be like,
down.
what is so funny about my pussy?
I know. Also, I'm not expecting much from the plot in these books. However, I did think it was like so silly that she's like, I can't be with him. I need to focus on my studies. And my mom proved to me that you can't have both. And all that happened was like her mom gave up her career to like be with the guy that she loved and then like died or whatever. And I was like, okay, so she didn't try to even do both. She gave up one for the other. That's not what's happening here.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand the conflict that's happening in your head. And then when it came to convincing her, she changed her mind so quick.
She caved very quickly.
So quick. I was like, if we're gonna do this whole like, I can't, draw it out a little bit more then.
Or like start that conversation before the wedding happens, being like, hey, I know I've only known you like a couple days, but I feel a connection with you and I genuinely want to be with you. And her going, hey, it's not just that I'm renting you out for the weekend. It's that I don't want a relationship.
Yes.
And throughout them doing wedding festivities, it like is revealed. I know, again, we're asking a lot from these plots. Like, I think it's unfair to judge this to the standard of like a full length novel or even a novella. Like these are really short. You can finish them in 30 minutes.
Yeah. I think this one was like 63 pages. So like, grain of salt, obviously.
Grain of salt. But even within that, I feel like there's this one out of all of them managed to have like a substantial plot line that I was really into up until they get together because it is so like,
And I want to get into some of the stuff that happens when they're doinking, but I want to hear what you felt about it, what your rating was on it too.
I would give it a 3 out of 5. Like it's also my favorite of the 5 that we read, and I think in terms of what I'm asking for out of a smutty novel, it kind of failed in the sex scenes. Like the sexual portion of this was my least favorite. Yeah, and like to be fair, there's only one other thing in this whole lineup that I would say is, to me, like in my opinion, a little bit better. And I think you already know where I'm going with that one. But like the plot itself was so exciting. Like I was genuinely like kind of pumped for these two in a way that I haven't felt with like the actual full length romance novels we've been reading.
Agreed. I know. I was reading this book on the plane and I was in turbulence and I'm getting jostled around.
I forgot
and
about
I'm like,
this.
I love this book.
This book is so good.
This book's so fun.
And like you said, in my head, I'm imagining this as like a late 90s, like early 2000s rom-com. Yeah. I can immediately see Katherine Heigl or like somebody in that position, like very 27 Dresses. I'm too busy. Like I can't be bothered with dating, which is obviously not the plot of 27 Dresses, but like that character archetype fits so well. And then just like charming tech dude who has like a secret identity. Like I'm not just a rent-a guy. I'm the guy who makes the app. I really like their dynamic. And then like you had said, I kind of was like, well, this kind of would work better if they were Indian, because at least the wedding festivities like goes on a little longer.
For sure.
Because I get, you do the rehearsal dinner like the day before and then you have like the wedding the next day.
Right.
It's like, there's not a lot.
Yeah, because I thought it was going to be like more of them like getting together beforehand and like getting to know each other. Because like I think to his point, he's like, okay, so you told me everything about your family, but I don't know anything about you. And it's like, yeah, people are going to be asking him questions about her because they're dating. So I thought like, oh, they're going to spend more time pre-wedding together. But it was just one like meetup, and then she was like, hey, by the way, my parents came in early from the airport. Can you like come pick us up? And then it was like,
and I learned her favorite color, and I learned her,
and that was it.
And that was it. Which, exactly, I'm like, there should have been more reasons where they should have been spending more time together.
Right.
Forced proximity.
Yeah. Or, like, again, it's like he drove to the airport to pick your parents up, and then they're, like, going to, like, her sister's house or something. And he's like, well, should I come in? And she's like, no.
It's like, okay, thank you so much. No, it should
let him come in.
You should have done a proposal situation where, like, Betty White is going, no, you have to come help us.
Right.
You have to be the one to, like, help out, and here's our mother's sex blanket, or, you know, whatever happened with the proposal. But instead it was him being like, all right, yeah, I guess I'll just see you.
Yeah, which also as the parents,
dinner.
Don't you think that's weird? Of like, my daughter's dating someone and he's picked us up from the airport, but now instead of like hanging out and spending time with us, he's just like leaving. I feel like my parents would be like, oh, okay, see you at the wedding, I guess. Like, yeah. Especially considering she hasn't really dated people. You'd think that they would be more like curious and like, no, he has to stay. To your point of like maybe them even interjecting and be like, get over here.
Right. And him, you know, doing the detective thing of like, what was she like as a kid? What
Yeah.
you know, like trying to get to know her more. The sex portions, and we talked about this a little bit in our like worst sex scenes video. If you haven't seen it, it's on our Patreon. The audio on it is a little wonky on my end, but it's still like a very funny thing where we go through sex scenes that Steph has read in novels and kind of pick apart like what we do and don't like about it.
Mhm.
And this one, I don't think necessarily did the thing where the male lead doesn't act like himself. Like to its credit, like he's chuckling, like he's being a little whatever throughout it.
Being a freak.
But yeah, the writing wasn't like I was cringing while reading it.
It's just also the writing where it's like at one point she's talking about his nipples and she's like his male nipples. You don't have to specify that. Or like he's like touching around her cooter and she's like my sensitive pussy lips. I was like, hey, one, not a thing. Two, what the are you talking about? So,
Hey, let's not do this.
hey,
Hey, let's
yeah,
not.
we don't gotta do all.
And we also kind of talked about this in that like episode, the worst sex scenes. Like it is kind of awkward to be talking to your friends like, hey, yeah, this like sex scene like really fucking turned me on or whatever. So like it's not to say that like we're denying any of these are like any decent and you shouldn't
Sure.
read smut once what at all. Like
No.
this isn't like the moral police being like, you shouldn't read
No.
perverse material.
If anything, I'm like, you know, reading fan fiction has ruined us. Like,
Truly.
I'm never gonna read a sex scene as good as some of the fan fiction sex scenes that I've read.
Oh my God. And let's take a quick pause here. Let's take a quick pause.
Intermission.
Because I feel like a lot of what these Kindle Unlimited novels are doing is just an alternative to fan fiction. And instead of proving their mettle through fanfiction.com or like the Archive of Our Own or Wattpad or whatever it might be, they're posting, and this is not to this author, but in general, like slop to Kindle Unlimited.
Mhm.
And then it's not even I'm being critical of the people who read Kindle Unlimited stories. I'm going, you don't even know the best that it could be. Like there's such good content out there. It's just unfortunately under like Bakugo and whatever, of, like, you know, some anime or like Once Upon a Time,
Right.
like
Yeah.
whatever it might be. But like some of the most well-written, highly erotic, sensual sex scenes you will ever read are on these like fan fiction websites. And so I recommend to you that if you really do enjoy like Kindle Unlimited and you're trying to get away from Bezos, which we did like a quick 1 week free trial and then we like ended our subscription. So we're not putting any money into this man. We truly were like, let's take advantage of the freeness of it all, call it a day, make them lose money. Not the authors, but
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos. But if you were trying to like pull away from that, I would say like you probably watch TV. Just go and look at your favorite TV shows.
You probably watch
Fandom.
TV.
Truly, and just like sort through explicit and you'll find something for yourself.
Mhm.
That's my like little soapbox of you can find
Yeah.
much better stuff.
No, truly.
It's just in like kind of a more niche
Yeah.
platform.
I will say though, like if this author were to write another book that like just did not have like spice in it, I would read it in a heartbeat.
Oh, besides the
Like-
sex scene, great writing.
Great writing.
Like the chemistry, it was so obvious on the paper. Like great.
Sorry, going back to the sex stuff though. Them at the wedding, like sexy dancing with each other. I'm in going, no, that's in front of all of your family. Don't do this to me. Like I'm completely taken out of this. Of like, this is happening, and all of your relatives are there. Like y'all are. He's like fully like knee into
Mhm.
pussy.
Yeah. They're at the club.
Like-
They're at the like 2010s club.
It's like, hey.
Good God, Ludacris is playing, which we don't stand Ludacris either. He's like MAGA now.
Oh,
Which-
no.
I know because I really like my chick bad. But like, what can you do? But that they're dancing as if that song is playing, and you know it's like, come on, Eileen. And also, what really worked for me, like leading up to some of like the sexual moments, because like they have the rehearsal dinner, I believe, and then they like make out afterwards.
Yeah, and he drives her home.
Yeah. But what works with those ones is that they have more of like a fluffy, like more fluff is happening
Yeah.
that leads up to those moments. So the fact that it like cuts to I'm sexy grinding on her at the family function.
I'm sticking my knee in her cooter in front of everyone.
Right, and
that she
that's
can-
what gets us going. I'm like, what happened to all the beautiful emotional intimacy that you've built up?
Or just like, if you're gonna grind, one, don't recommend doing that at a wedding. But if you're going to, just do it like a normal person of like, her butt is against my crotch. Like,
Right.
you're not sticking your whole knee in oh God, I had such a, that took me out.
The
That's
most
a good
sexual
app.
place, my sister's wedding.
Her sister's a freak too, though. There's at one point where like the wedding has happened. She has been like, okay, washed her hands of this guy. Like it's done. We're done. And I think her and her sister, I think they're just texting. And her sister's like, you should like go for it, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, her sister goes, anyway, I gotta go skinny dip with my husband. Bye. I was like, that's crazy.
I liked her sister a lot.
I did too, but I thought that was nuts to be like, here's this like really beautiful sage wisdom that I'm giving you, and I think you should have all the happiness in the world. I gotta go skinny dip with my husband.
I also was kind of taken aback by the skinny dip thing where I'm like, wouldn't you just want to go to your hotel room? Like, isn't that the classic, like, anyways, like, it's my wedding night, so I'm gonna leave you and peace out and go do that. But skinny dipping is like a choice. I would love it if like the entire
She's
wedding
getting a
party
UTI.
went and just not her sister.
No, they immediately went on their honeymoon. It was wedding done and then honeymoon. And so it's like, okay, you're what, skinny dipping in the ocean, banging in the ocean, getting a UTI on your honeymoon?
Giardia, I keep saying
Giardia.
this. Giardia, she's getting Giardia on her honeymoon.
I get the appeal of writing a scene of like, we're doing stuff in water, but again, I can't get past the like, you're gonna get an infection.
It's gotta be that like those perfect clear crystal blue lagoon or some shit. Like not touched by human hands. Therefore it's pure or whatever. You're not getting a river disease.
Seaweed's going up her punani as we speak.
Well, his knee is going up there, so no worries. But yeah, like out of all that we read of this list, the most tame, I think the most like fun and enjoyable to read.
He's just chuckling nonstop while he's going down on her. And what if he's having fun? We're having fun. I would watch this as a movie too. I would too. And I think it might even be, slightly better as a movie. I think it's easier to like going back to Bridgerton again, it's like I think it's easier to like watch more explicit scenes than it is to like read about it, because it's like, yeah, you're just seeing him kind of like haha, like in the moment. It's not like he laughed, he chuckled, he laughed.
Right, exactly. Or like the sensual glances is a better thing to visually experience, I suppose, than saying he looked at her. What was it? Oh my God, we read this in another book. What was this? What was this? Oh no, it was in our worst sex scenes ever. It's like he had like a sexy smile, not a sexy smile, but like a cheeky smile or something. We were like ribbing on the way that this one author described the way somebody was looking at another person of like, do this kind of smile. Yeah. I forgot, but I'm like, see,
I know what you're talking about though. Yeah.
Doing that smile is better than describing it as whatever it was.
Right.
If I can find a clip of it, I'll put it. Because we did a bunch of dumb faces.
I do really want, really quickly before we wrap this one up, I do want to talk about the Steve Jobs of it all, of like literally he meets her and he eventually reveals like, I'm the guy who developed this app, right? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. He expresses to some extent that he's like, yeah, it feels kind of like icky and weird and whatever. And she's like, well, like you should invent an app for like wedding planning or something. So he does that. It's literally iWedding. And then they like get together and, there's another thing that I want to talk about too, actually, that's coming back. But he does that. And then it's like, he comes to her door and is like, I can show that I won't be like a hindrance to you. Like I'll help you through studying and whatever. And then he developed another app called I Study. And I'm like, okay. Why is it all Apple product themed apps? The other part that I want to talk about at the very end, she graduates, she gets her master's. She's been working so hard to do this. And he proposes directly after.
Oh, right.
Directly after. I thought that was so insulting. That was my biggest, his biggest red flags are the fact that he drives a Tesla and he decided to go, hey, I know this is your big day and that you finally got the degree that you've been working so hard towards, but let's make it about us instead. And let me propose to you immediately after getting your diploma.
I know your whole thing is that you're really worried that you want people to balance your love life and your work life. So here is me making you immediately have to put aside your academic accomplishments for your love life.
Yeah. Also overshadowing in some sense of now it's not just the day that you graduated with your master's. Now it's the day that we got engaged.
And based on the way her family operates too, it's they're going to care about one of those over the other. And it's not the thing that she actually cares about.
Right.
Or has worked really hard for.
I know.
There is a rom-com with Dacre Montgomery and I forget the actress, but she's an Indian actress. But there's a climactic scene where he kind of interrupts this big moment for her so he can profess his love to her. And she goes back on stage and she's like, hey, I was kind of in the middle of a huge thing for myself and I'm still going to go through with that. Mm-hmm. So can you not right now? And he's like, yeah, you know what? totally sorry. Like, I apologize. I
Yeah.
shouldn't have done that. And I really appreciated that. Like, granted, it was like a bit of a comedic moment,
Sure.
but it was good to call out that, like, you should not be doing grand romantic gestures while somebody is like achieving their dream or their accomplishment.
Yeah.
And
Wait a day, man.
I feel like I read a lot of like Reddit stories where that happens too, of like,
Uh-huh.
I said no to my like boyfriend's proposal because he proposed during my graduation, or he proposed
Yeah.
during my sister's baby shower, or some
Right.
stupid thing like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you marry somebody with such like lack of understanding as to your own character?
I know. I know that that's not like a problem for everyone, but yeah, to your point, like you would think that it would be a problem for her based off of everything of like, I've constantly felt like I needed to choose one or the other, and I'm just coming to the realization that I don't need to do that. And now it's like, okay, so even before I go into my work field, I'm now, I guess, engaged to be married.
Tied down. And the author didn't have to write it like that way. Like, it shows that that's what a good ending was to this author.
Yeah.
And sometimes it frustrates me where I'm like, you didn't even like realize your own character's wants and needs. Like,
Right.
this is not typical of the character that you wrote.
Mhm.
This is a tragedy in the end.
Right.
You could have just been like, yeah, now she graduated like a year or two ago. She's like really settled in her field. They're happy. And he makes an app called I Propose or some shit like that. You know what I mean? It does not have to end with him overshadowing her accomplishment.
Yeah.
With, yet another dude bro thing to do. But otherwise, like, oh, here's something I did want to talk about.
Yeah.
This novel does the thing where it sort of, I wouldn't say the word lampshade, but it tries to skirt around the idea that maybe your character's plus size. Like, this
Yeah.
guy's like, he's buff, he goes to the gym a lot, he works out, and then he describes her constantly as like curvy,
Mhm.
having lots going. Like, the way they describe
Yeah.
a plus size woman in some of these novels is difficult for me, because before, when I didn't notice it, I was like, I guess she's just like a really busty girl,
Yeah.
which could be true. Like, that could be what this author's describing.
Yeah.
But then sometimes there are authors who are like writing plus size characters who themselves are not plus size. And so instead of just going out of their way being like, she's a big girl, they use every other adjective under the sun to be like, yeah. she's plus size.
Yeah.
And so in this book, like I imagined her plus size just because they were using the kind of like lampshady language of she's curvy, she's got a lot to her, she's got a lot of whatever it might be. And granted, like, I don't think I'm like the foremost authority to be like, what's the right way to write a plus size woman?
Sure.
But
it's like the same way when it's like character or authors are writing characters that are like very ethnically ambiguous. It's like, just say it.
just say it.
Like, what's the harm?
On to our next book.
And I'm so happy that I get to introduce it. So our next book is Their Virgin Valentine by Elise Leigh, I think.
To be fair, when I looked up
Leigh.
any of these titles, I didn't need to like sort through. It was like, that's exactly what the book was.
Yeah, that's fair. But I believe it is by Elise Leigh. And Their Virgin Valentine follows
Oh my God.
I don't even remember the main female character's name. Is it Sasha? Stacy?
Don't look at
She's
me, man.
there. I don't know. There's a girl. She's there. Her brother dies in the war. And his two best friends that were also in the war come back and end up taking care of her. And I had assumed, and I don't want to get into my thoughts during this, but I had assumed it was like on the brother's request. No, it just turns out that she had a like horrible abusive dad, and they like came and saved her from him when she was 13 years old.
Important.
And they made her promise like, hey, we'll provide for you, we'll take care of you, you'll come live with us, whatever. We just ask that you don't date anyone. And she's followed this rule her entire life up until recently when she was asked out for Valentine's Day.
Recently being when she's 21.
Yes.
Like an adult woman now.
Yes. She has like time has passed. She's in college and she's asked out for Valentine's Day. And at first she says no, and then she says yes. And they're pissed about it. And then stuff ensues. And it's really something. How do you feel about this book?
Look, man. This book was a 0.1 out of 5 for me. I hated this book. And I think it should be classified as a dark romance, even though I don't think it is.
Totally, though.
Yeah.
Or maybe just don't write it.
Oh,
like,
God. Like, I know we're not supposed to yuck anyone's yum.
No, we can yuck this yum. We can yuck this yum.
And truly, my problem isn't that it's like Why Choose novel.
No.
Like both guys who pursue her, she's with, and there's like nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Totally fine. You can have like multiple partners. It's the fact that they kind of already knew that they wanted her when she was 13. Like they don't phrase it that way. They're not like, oh my God, we lusted after a 13-year-old. But it's that they adopted essentially a 13-year-old, and as she grew up under their care and protection, they started to view her in a very lustful way. But they say it like, oh no, she's mine. I care about her. It's one of those alpha Chad loser stories. And they both had feelings for her that way.
Yeah.
And then at some point they like make an agreement. They're like, I guess we could share her. I guess we both could go for her. And I'm like, so she's not even part of this conversation.
Nope.
You don't even know if she wants this, which she shouldn't, because she should be viewing you as like two father-brother figures.
Yeah.
And even if she doesn't, you should like know where that line is.
Yeah.
But instead they're like, yeah, I guess it's time for her to want men. And so we should make it so that she wants us as men. And you and I, shake on it, we'll tag team her. And then they like, I guess, approach her. Or she, again, like the book does this thing where instead of putting any culpability on these two gross, pathetic losers, it's like she's the one who's like, I want you both. Yeah. I love you both, and I've always loved you both. Like, she's a traumatized, abused girl who lost her brother and was like abused by her father. Her desires should not be taken at face value. That's not to say victims of assault like don't have autonomy over their choices, but in this scenario, it just feels so disgusting and blatantly abusive to be like, yes, we did make sure and groom you in a way so that we are the only men in your life, and therefore the only like figures that you can project any sort of like romance or sex onto.
Yep.
And if that's what you want, sure, we'll do it. Yeah. And they're like 40 or like late 30s, I believe.
They're like, yes, or like they're in I think it's early 30s, but even still 21 and like 33. While nothing wrong with it, it comes with the context of they have known her since she was a child.
They were able to adopt her basically when she was 13.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, I'm out.
Yeah.
But then also we get to the sex scenes and it's like so comical. One, how quickly they decide to deflower her. It's on Valentine's Day, by the way, because the date is a Valentine's Day date. That's why this is Valentine's technically. And again, when I read this, I thought it was going to be like she was already an adult when they like decided to take care of her. I didn't think she would be like a child.
Yeah. And I also rated this very low. I did like a 0.5 out of 5, like, but I think my biggest problem with it is the author at certain points like interjects very obvious like, and it's not weird because of this, and it's like, no, it's weird. Like there's literally a line where one of these guys goes like, we knew we had to wait for her to like claim her, and it's like, okay, so you are admitting you had feelings for her then when she was like not of age to have feelings for her.
Even if she wasn't 13, she's still underage when you started developing like again lustful feelings. I feel like I'm like a preacher or something. Your lustful feelings.
And it's like, and then her even too, she's like, yeah, I felt that. Like they have that moment, and then they're like, oh yeah, only in the last like handful of years have we started to view her in this light. And it's like literally like so gross too. It's like we saw her transform into the like sexy take charge woman that she is today. She's 21. He's 21. Okay, babe. Okay, I'm thinking about like we're like early 30s. If one of our friends is like, I'm dating a 21-year-old, I'd be like, I need you to think about this for a second.
I adopted a 21-year-old.
What do you have in common with a 21-year-old?
Yeah. Disgusting.
But beside the point, but it's like, and then she's like, I've had feelings for them since I was 16. So I'm like, okay, doesn't make me feel any better about any of this going on. And it's like, yeah, you get like multiple POVs. You get her POV, you get Mike, which is one of the dudes, and Javier, who's one of the other dudes. You get all of their POVs throughout this book. And during her POV, she like is fully like, yeah, and I just think about them all the time, and I want them both, and it's wrong, and I know. And it's like, oh, because she's thinking this way, we're supposed to feel chill and okay about this. But at no point did I feel comfortable and okay with this. And to your point too, it's like she came from like an abusive situation, and then they immediately went, okay, and you can have no men in your life. Yeah. Like, because even if she was like,
they made sure that she had no men in her life.
Yeah.
Which like as you take a sip, it's a very normal thing for like any young person to be able to interact with romantically the opposite sex at like a certain age. Like it's very healthy. Like you should encourage, even if it's not to date, you should be like, hey, I'm not going to make this a taboo thing.
Mhm.
And they made it a taboo thing to the point where she was like, if they know I asked out this person, they're going to be so mad at
They're gonna
me.
be pissed.
It's weird, bruh.
Yeah, and she's followed around by a security detail all day, and he reports her every move to them all day. So you took her from an abusive situation, and you put her into a different abusive situation, basically.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even when it, like, based off of how they reacted to this guy asking her out on a date, I just know that, like, even if a dude were to approach her platonically, they would be, like, the type of people to be like, no guy is, like, actually just wants to be friends with you, like, stay away from him. Like, they would definitely be that type of person. And you see that there's, like, absolutely no growth in them too throughout the book, which, like, why would there be? But like, even at the end,
True.
it's like she, like, goes through school, gets a master's so she can teach middle school math, I guess. And then Javier is like, we think it would be better for her to, like, stay home where it's safer with our children, but, you know, if she wants to do this, so we just, like, go in and, like, show up at her work sometimes that the boys, then specifically call it the boys in the class, don't mess with her.
The 5th grade boys or the middle school boys. Like, this is disgusting and weird.
And they are 40 at this point.
I got beef with this 10-year-old. Whatever. It's like this 12-year-old.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Which, like, based on their history, it feels as though they're scouting out their next victim.
Right.
Like, that's the age.
Seriously.
I was, like, thinking, like, how, again, because I love to play this game. How would you do this so that this works? You just make them, like, weird stepbrothers. Like, and that also does not work for me personally, but, like, there's a taboo element that I think is what is appealing to this, of, like, we saved her and we protect her and she's our girl. And, like, how do you have that kind of, like, intense alpha behavior in a way that, like, isn't just I'm grooming a child?
Yeah.
And I guess you could have it that they're, like, step siblings and, like, her biological brother died and so they feel like they have to, like, step up, or I don't know, it's still gross.
You could still do this narrative, I feel like, but just have her brother die later on in life, and even as an adult, her, like, dad is, like, still fucking around with her, and so to, like, protect her, she, like, moves in with them. Like, started off, like, because she had, well, I guess that wouldn't even work though either, because, like, they would still have met her as a child.
Well, that's what, okay, here's what you do. You make them all the same age.
True.
And then
Or,
instead
like,
of an abusive
like, a
dad, she had an
2-year
abusive
age
boyfriend
gap
or something like that.
Yeah.
So that way it's them, like, being like, your brother died, but we're still here for you to protect you. Like, you can come live with us.
Yeah.
And she's been living with them as an adult.
Yeah.
And I don't know, then you can be like, yeah, we have protection. I still don't like it because I don't like the alpha guy. Like, if you've seen our bride episode, if you've seen our mate episode, that archetype of romantic lead does not do it for either of us.
Oh. And this was, like, worse because they're like, yeah, we grew up poor and, like, scrapping in the streets and we had nothing and we were causing trouble. And then we found the army and we straightened up. And I was like, this is just propaganda.
It's military propaganda.
It's just military propaganda, and also you're groomers. So all of this checks out, honestly. But
this also is a horror story, not just for her, but for her brother, who turns out is not dead.
Yes!
It's like a last minute plot twist while they, like, after they've, like, boned her hard in a hotel room.
They both proposed to her.
They both proposed to her. Like, it's disgusting. They take her to a hotel room. They're like, we're going to take you on a proper date. Which, if any other guy, this is what I'm saying about these alpha chats. If any other man decided to take her to a hotel room on her first date, they'd be like, that guy's disgusting. That guy is evil. But we're allowed to do it. One of them takes her virginity, which is a dumb concept in general, but takes her virginity. The other one takes her butt virginity.
Same time. First time she's having P and V sex and P and B sex. And
oh yeah.
And
it was like,
and it's at the
butt
same
sex.
time. It's at the same time. All right.
And then they propose to her. And then they go, we have another surprise. Your brother's out of that.
He just went AWOL.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he just attends their wedding and is like, you don't get to hear from the brother at all. He's just like, and he was there. It's like, if that's me, and my precious little sister is being doinked down by my two best friends who have protected her by both getting married to her, I guess, even though you can't do that.
Imagine this. You're her brother. You grew up in an abusive
Imagine.
household, being beaten up by your father.
Yeah.
You go to war.
You go
You've
to
got
army.
these two blood brothers. You're taken in as a prisoner of war. You're worried. Oh my God, what's going to happen to my sweet sister? I've been gone for 8 years. Finally, you're found. You go, oh, thank God, it's my two best friends taking care of my sister.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. You're both, you both raised her and you're both her. And now you're marrying her. I'd be like, yeah, PTSD took over. PTSD is fully taken over.
I need to also talk about how they like came to okay, actually there's several steps to this.
I hate this.
So she gets asked out for Valentine's Day. They this is reported back to them through the security detail that follows her around. She comes back, they're pissed, and she's like, she gets super mad because in her head she's like, I want both of you, but you guys don't want me, and blah 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 in her head. And so she gets mad because she's like, well, why can't I go on? Like you've never told me why I can't do this. Like I like, whatever. And she gets super mad and then goes to her room and masturbates, I guess. And they're like, Mike and Javier are having their little like, oh, I think she wants us. I think it's time to finally like put our plan into motion.
Disgusting.
And then he goes to knock on her bedroom door and he opens it. She doesn't hear the knocking. She doesn't hear the door open. She doesn't see him standing there. Her eyes are closed, but come on. And then he sees her and he goes, oh, and then he creeps around. He creeps around into the hallway
and starts jerking in the hallway. I'm like, you're disgusting. You're vile.
Perverts. And then I don't know, she comes down after finishing herself to the other guy in the kitchen being like, I'm making dinner. We're gonna watch your favorite movie together. And they're like, I don't know, doing disgusting. She's like head in one of their laps and then like feet across the other one. And he starts like tickling her. And then she gets too into it and she like moans. And then he goes, that's the hottest thing ever. And they just start doing shit together.
That scene really grossed me out too because my mind first went to like, well, that's probably something she did since she was like a child with them. Like that probably was like a very, like she's very comfortable with them.
Well, she said, I mean, granted, it wasn't like directly about like the intimacy of the cuddling and whatnot, but she's like, but we haven't had like a movie night like this in a while. So it implies that they have done this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm going like, oh, you were tickling her feet because she was a little baby and now she's an adult woman, you freak. I hate these guys. They should be locked
I
up.
spit my water out.
You're doing that because she's a little baby. Like, you are so disgusting. And I don't care. And if you're like, well, actually, like if you read this and you enjoyed it, I have nothing to say to that. But if you're in real life being like, I don't see the problem with this.
Yeah.
I'm reporting you. I'm reporting you. This is so vile and gross. And then, this poor guy who asked her out shows up the next day to be like, okay, yeah, I'm ready for our date. And they're like, she doesn't want you anymore.
It was
like he's like the most villainous dude on earth.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this was written by a 13-year-old because so all this happens and then more stuff happens in the morning and they like kind of trade off basically. One guy goes out for a run. They all go in the same bed together and they're all cuddled up. And then they wake up in the morning and the one guy's like on his run and then the other one's like, let's do stuff. And they start doing stuff. And then the guy from his run comes back. He's like, my turn to do stuff. And then they're like, we have to off for work, I guess.
Oh, they work at a security company, by the way.
Yeah.
Or like they own it.
And they are consultants for the U.S. military, I guess.
Which makes sense. Our entire government's filled with pedophiles. So they're like, yeah, you're one of us, dude.
Okay, so then they like leave and then they like surprise her with like, you're gonna get a spa day with your friend. And I thought in my head something was gonna go like wild because it was like they like randomly get taken away for work. They like I think like leave and they have to like leave her a note or something. Yeah. And in my head I thought like her security detail is like turning on her, something scary is gonna happen because that's how it felt. And no, it's just she's at her spa day with her friend that keeps getting mentioned as like she knows all about soccer and she likes Star Wars and she's like so bubbly and cool and then you see her for like 2 seconds and they're in the spa and she goes,
13-year-old wrote this.
By the way, I'm both of the guys that I live with. Any thoughts on that? And she goes, I think that's great for you.
That's awesome.
And then
that's
they
really cool.
Go and get their hair and their makeup done and their mani-pedis and whatever and she comes back home and they like sees like roses in a box for her dress and of course they get her lingerie too and they're like, we're gonna see you later, you got a surprise for you. And then doorbell rings And she goes and she thinks it's him. And it's the guy that initially asked her out for Valentine's Day because she never canceled on him. And then they like show up and they're like, her guys are here. I literally think that's the line. It's like, her guys are here. And then this guy goes, I didn't even want this slut anyway. And they're like,
he has to be an evil dude.
Starts beating the shit out of this kid. They beat him up. And then they're like, we're going to tell your dad, basically. Like, I don't know.
I feel like they made fun of his car, too.
They're like, start beating him up. And then he goes, do you even know who my father is? I'm going to tell him. They're like, do it. And then we'll bring up all this other dirt that we have on your dad. What is happening?
They're like, look how good we did at protecting her.
What is happening?
Good God. I hate this. I hate that they have to like swoop in and save her from like the big bad other 20-year-old man. Like, it's so comical that this author was like, and now they're going to show their alpha prowess by telling her date to off. And like,
beating the shit out of
came
this
in
20-year-old.
antagonistic.
Oh,
they like didn't give her a
1000%.
chance to be like, hey, I'm canceling the date. And then he's like, no, you're not. Like, being like a dick about it. She has like gotten maybe a word into him and they're like, no, we're here now. Her guys are here. Yeah. And then this guy is going to run back to the university being like, hey, do you know those two dudes that we thought were her dads? It turns out they're actually plowing her. And she's going to be a pariah at school.
She's going to be a pariah. No, it's fine. She's got her master's and she's teaching middle school math now. Her life's all set.
So yeah, we hated this book.
Yeah.
This one was, I think, the worst.
1,000%. Yeah.
A trillion percent.
Yeah. Which is saying something because we read other books that we'll talk about.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Like, the other stuff that's about to be coming up in this list is infinitely dumber and like more awful, but yet this book was still like the worst. So yeah, those guys need to be locked up.
Yeah.
And she needs so much therapy, girl.
Yeah.
Girl, come on. Because, the nightmare is that they both marry her and then she has both of their kids.
Yeah.
And as a stay-at-home, not really, but like she still goes to work. But if they had it their way, that she'd be a trad wife.
Yeah. This did definitely feel like trad wife propaganda as well.
It's just like these authors who write a lot of these smutty books, again, want to have like a very tough, outgoing girl who speaks her mind and can stand up against her men. But then at the same time, write the most like conservative, I want my woman to stay home, can't defend herself or do shit types of characters. And I'm so tired of it. I'm like, how do you have the wherewithal to write a character that normally wouldn't stand up for this kind of stuff, but it's fine as long as it's her?
Right.
I think it makes sense.
It's also, I think, goes into too like the trope that we've talked about all the time of like these dudes are treating everyone around them like crap. You can't convince me that they won't treat you like crap at some point. Obviously that never happens in the book and I wouldn't want it to, but it's like, how am I supposed to like these two most insufferable dudes I've ever read about?
They're gonna beat up anybody and be like, well, your dad's a pedophile. So am I. That's how I know. But like,
we do need to talk about the one line in the book where like they go to the hotel.
They've been calling her princess, by the way.
They've been calling her princess. They both get down and they get also the ring. I was like, this is written by a 13-year-old because of this. It's like a 5-carat pink diamond for her engagement ring. And I'm going, okay, interesting. And she like starts crying and she goes, queens never cry. And immediately it just queen never cry meme comes to mind.
It's them in the background holding baby her.
Holding the baby. I was gonna say.
Queen never cry.
Queen never cry.
So yeah. Hate them. Yeah, but the next one on our list, speaking of tough female leads, like I feel like that does embody it. We have Chasing Cupid?
Chasing Valentine.
Chasing Valentine. Thank you so much. Chasing Valentine. I don't remember the author, but
Penn Cassidy.
Thank you so much. You're the most on top of everything. You got a brain like a steel trap
I
up
looked
here.
at it right before we started doing this.
Chasing Valentine by Penn Cassidy. And this novel is about a young girl named Valentine. Not a young girl. I wouldn't say she's young, but like she's a witch and she's been around for centuries. And back, I want to say during Roman times, she had like a one-night dalliance with Cupid. And before Cupid had a chance to shoot her with one of his arrows, she, I guess, put a spell or a curse on him.
She cursed his ass.
Yeah, so that he has to stay within the god realm all year except for one day where he gets to come out, which is Valentine's Day. ha ha ha. It's like a fun joke on her name. Yeah, we learned that like Valentine's Day has something to do with Saint Valentine in this world. It's actually about her. And so every year she's like running around, like all year she's like running around trying to like work up the protection so that when Valentine's Day comes, she can thwart Cupid. She can run away from him and get away from whatever he's got planned for her. So this year she decides to make a stand for herself. She makes a really sexy golem, and Cupid shows up on Valentine's Day. But because her soul is locked away in this golem, he can't use his arrows on it. And I guess he also just doesn't want to murder her. Like, I don't know why that wasn't an option.
I don't know either.
So he's just like waiting there for Valentine's Day to be over. And he's like, well, if you want to kind of freak on each other. Because we did it before, like years before. And they do. They like freak on each other. And the golem gets involved as well. And then she, I guess at some point. Guys, the coughing shouldn't be a thing anymore. I'm so annoyed. So the climax of this novel, Wink, is that she decides to stab him with one of his own arrows, and it turns out that she's his soulmate.
Pisses me off.
Who would have saw that coming?
Pisses me off.
And they decide to be together and freak on each other more. That's Chasing Valentine.
That's the whole thing. That's all we have to say about it.
That's it. So what would you give that?
That's a 1 out of 5 for me, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the first thing, I love how she's like, he doesn't have a shirt on, he doesn't have shoes on, he doesn't have socks on, he's got leather pants on though. Don't worry. I also don't read this book, not encouraging anyone to read this book. I do need you to look at the cover art of this book.
Yeah.
Because it is like face tuned to hell. And I'm looking at this going, I wouldn't want to that man. That's scary.
You know, like
That's
the
creepy.
Insta TikTok filter that's like truly like beat to death, like like to the gods.
The emoji that's like
that's this man. Like truly, I feel like I have a picture of myself with that filter on. Like I can put it here. It's insane what they've done to this poor model who must have like modeled for this. But yeah, continue.
I just didn't get any of it, honestly, because it's like he is like obsessed with her because, to your point, like this happens every year. He's like pissed that she sealed him away in the god realm. And rather than just like, okay, I'm going to exact revenge by killing her, he insists like, no, I'm getting you with one of my arrows. Like I'm finishing what I've started. And my question is why?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, okay, like I guess I get it to some extent, again, like revenge of like, you stopped me from doing this thing, whatever. But it just was so flimsy. And then her being like, I'm stabbing him with his own arrow. And he goes, I just didn't ever think this was going to work. I was like, you just didn't try? like, why would you, like, you would think, like, you clearly are obsessed with her to some degree. You would think you wouldn't want her to be with, like, someone else. And it comes out that it's, like, he doesn't decide who, like, gets tied together by fate. It's just, like, whoever is your soulmate is who you get tied to, which is why she and him get tied together. So it's, like, I don't, like, wouldn't you just see, just to, like, check it out? Like, what's the worst that happens? Nothing? Okay, cool. Then, so yeah, and then the golem really upset me. Actually,
that really grossed me out.
That really, like, because it's like he's like
it took me out of it so much.
Unthinking creature with no choice but to give into her command. So he's like, Cupid's like, yeah, I want to see you get by this golem, and she's like, I don't know about that. It's made from like clay, also, like obviously
like
it's
cemetery
not
dirt
clay anymore, but. It's like a full person, but he's like, you didn't make him hot like that for nothing. And it's like, there's something just gross.
You didn't make him so hot to
He's like, you could have made your golem look like anything, and you decided to make him look like that, so you might as well him. And then she's like, you're right, I might as well. And I was like, that thing has no choice but to give in to your command. So isn't there some sort of like, you know, it's not actually a person, it's literally made from dirt, but there's still something so strange about that to me that I could not move past. And then the soulmate plot twist, we've already ran this into the ground. Hate. And then also at the end, you're a god.
I forget. Yeah, she becomes a god too.
Yeah,
because he's a god or whatever.
Didn't dislike. What about you?
I gave it like a 2 out of 5.
You're very generous with your rating.
Well, just knowing what comes after this, like I'm being very strategic about it. Like none of these is like, oh my god, you have to read this. But I'm like, of the stuff that we've read, It's a 2 out of 5. Like, I thought the initial premise was kind of fun. I guess like I enjoyed that she's been like really gung ho about not letting Cupid get her ass. When it just came to the sex scenes, it threw me off. I like the reason I was saying this is the one where I'm like, I think the sex scene is a little bit better than what is it, 1-800-Cupid?
Yeah.
Only because it fits the mood of what these two are.
Yeah.
A lot better than that one did. So I'm not saying that necessarily that this is like a well-written sex scene or that it's by any means like such a top tier, top notch thing to read. But at least it like kind of fits their vibe. They're kind of like rough with each other.
Yeah.
They're weirdly horned up, and like it's explained that I don't know what he's up to, but like she hasn't been engaging in coitus with anybody.
Yeah.
So like she's kind of desperate for it. So I'm like, okay, this like awkward passion that you guys have here makes sense.
Yeah.
And your soulmate. So like obviously you're gonna have this chemistry. The golem was weird though. The golem was nasty, boot nasty. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah. I also like I can't buy into their relationship with one another. One, because like all we've seen is him hunting her and then it going to them banging, and then now all of a sudden we're soulmates. It feels like it cheapens it, because while there was sexual chemistry there was no sense of him being like, I feel more for this person really. Mm-hmm. And so for it to be him to just like change his tune so hard when it came down to, you're my soulmate, and now he's being like more gentle with her and like more loving towards her, that was like, that kind of icked me out. Also the fact that it's like there's a point where she's talking about how she's been hunted by him for like centuries at this point. And she's at the point of desperation where she goes, okay, I'm going to put my like heart basically in this golem so that he can't use an arrow on me. And he might get so enraged that he kills me. But at this point, I'm so tired, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
And then she's going, actually, yeah, I could love you. What? It's so hard for me as the reader to come back from her being that like upset and like just like dogged on so hard by this dude. Like this guy is making her feel like it would be better to die than to continue to do all this. And now I'm supposed to go, oh my God, I'm so happy they're together now.
Yay, this was all for a reason.
They're soulmates.
Because she even says at one point, she's like, this is the first time he's actually like talked to me. Like in one of these. And a better option here is just like if she's looking back on like their many, many years and their many centuries of like, they have a rapport, they have a banter, they like joke around almost. Like it feels kind of like a silly coworker cat and mouse chase.
Yeah.
And we see more of the like dodging and weaving being like, I know what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
And then whatever it might be. But instead it's like, he's been truly just chasing her every single Valentine's Day. And they don't speak. They don't do anything. She wants to kill it. Like she wants him to kill her.
Yeah.
And then they're boning down. And there's golems in the way. And they're soulmates.
Yeah.
And it's not even that like she's like, oh, you're chasing after me to finish the job. It'd be one thing if she had it misunderstood. And he's like, no, bitch, I've been chasing after you because you're my soulmate. Yeah. Like, I can't even get a word in edgewise to, like, tell you that, like, we're supposed to be together. But, or, like, that's why I found you that night. Like, I knew that you were my soulmate. The arrow was just, like, part of the ritual, but, like, we were going to be together no matter what. Yeah. And you just misinterpreted it. Because we find out she cheated on somebody.
Which, like, because she's a witch and she knows she lives, like, for so long. But she, like, ended up having, like, a relationship with a human. Mm-hmm. And then in the end went, like, I just can't. I don't know, I'm a witch and like I just live so much longer and like I just don't really actually even see this as like a real relationship. But this is like the only man that I've been with that like actually likes me and like doesn't want to just like dig down basically.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that's sad.
Because then Cupid throws it in her face being like, well, you cheated on your bro, so like what do you want from me, huh? I'm like, I guess that's the same as hunting a woman for millennia. I don't.
Hey, it's the same. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. But like this to me was the most. I don't know how to say this. Like bland is not the right word, but I didn't have too strong of a reaction one way or the other.
No, I feel like I have a lot to say about the other, like all of the other books that we've read, and this one, I like my note section was like the smallest of like, okay, like whatever, this is happening, I guess. A
lot of these books also start off with this, like the way that the books themselves start annoys me a little bit, where they go, wow, so many people are happy on the street, but I'm not. Like this book starts that way of like, so many people are going about their day, a normal day to them, but not to me.
Yeah.
Like, this is not
She was very emo.
Not good writing. I would be too if a freaking god chased after me like for centuries and centuries. But I think I would have given up a lot sooner. Like, I'm not that
Yeah.
strong-willed, I'm not gonna lie.
I also, like, I don't know. It's not that it, like, didn't make sense necessarily, but I just hate, like, when you see an overpowered character and you have no idea what got them to that point, because she, like, keeps talking about this ritual that she has to do with the golem to put her heart in there. And she keeps going about, like, it's so hard to do. Hardly anyone can do it. Like, so many complications can happen, but I'm so desperate that I'm gonna do it. And it ends up, I think, being, like, that she was basically so desperate that made it easy for her to do it. But I hated being like, yeah, it's so hard and almost no one can do it right. And if you do it right, there's like these horrible repercussions. And then it was like, and I did it and it was fine. And anyway, and now Cupid's here. It's like, okay. Once again, feels very like 13-year-old wrote this book.
I did it so right that even my golem is good at sex.
I did it so right that my golem's sexy as hell.
Yeah, I made the sexiest golem, and hey, mom, you suck. Or like whoever was the one that initially taught her the spell. Yep. So that was Chasing Valentine.
Chasing Valentine.
And I get it. It's a Valentine. Like, she's Valentine. But...
yeah. I think there's like a point where she's like, don't call me Valentine, though. Call me Val, because now my name sucks, because Cupid, blah, 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 blah. It's like, shut up.
Shut up.
Get over yourself.
Yeah. There's something to be said about like a darker romance. Again, this isn't unnecessarily a dark romance to me, but like the tension of like, we hate each other. And every year, like, he hunts me, chases me down, and whatever. Like, I get why that and concept is sexy, but this was such a blah execution.
Okay. So our next book is My Tentacle Romance by Amber Fox. And it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah, we couldn't get enough of the monster genre, so we went full steam ahead.
It follows our main female character, whose name is also just a blur to me, and she ends up going out for Valentine's Day with her boyfriend and ends up getting broken up with, and on her drive back she stumbles upon a tentacle monster and romance ensues. And truly, I know that summary seems so short, it's 16 pages.
It's
so
really short.
I really can't say more than that without starting to get into the nitty-gritty. How did you feel about this book?
No, this book was a 5 out of 5. No.
I read this book out loud to you.
I was gonna say, the reading experience was a 5 out of 5. You're an incredible narrator, and it was fun to laugh to the point of wanting to puke as we were going through it. I would give this like a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, I also
like the tentacle monster was sweet to her, I guess.
I guess he can't talk, but I guess
there was a lot of like stuff that I wasn't expecting in this. Like, I don't read tentacle romance, so some of the like egg stuff I think really kind of threw me for a loop, and that was so gross. And then some of the like actions of the tentacle monster were so comedic that I was like, this person who wrote this is not taking this seriously either.
No.
Like, they're like, this is hilarious to me. I just want to write a weird monster thing where a woman gets eggs up her pussy. And then, because like what I'm talking about, at one point,
she gets eggs up her pussy.
She gets eggs up her pussy. But also, like, at one point, so her car gets broken down. Like, breaks down, and so she like goes to a cave, and the tentacle monster's in this cave. Why she would not go anywhere else, I don't understand. But the next morning when she's waking up, she finds out that the tentacle monster, like, while she was sleeping, went out, found her car, got in the car. And when we say tentacle monster, it's truly just like
literally just tentacles.
Like a writhing ball of tentacles. So like the comedic elements of it made it a more enjoyable experience.
1,000%.
And same thing with the second novel, like when we'll get into it. But there were so many moments where I busted out laughing. And for that, I was like, hell yeah, my tentacle monster romance or whatever it's called, my tentacle romance. But in terms of like actual enjoyment of this novel.
Oh, so funny.
Yeah, no, I didn't like what I was reading. But it was such a funny book.
1,000%. Yeah.
What about you?
I also gave it a 1 out of 5 just because like it was just, there was like a like in the same way of like The Bodyguard, that it was just a bad book, but it was like it filled me with so much entertainment and joy. Same thing with this one for sure.
Yeah.
And I might just start getting into it because I feel like you've kind of covered like my general thoughts as well about it. This book starts off with her like going to this restaurant on Valentine's Day and getting broken up by her boyfriend, like getting broken up with by her boyfriend. And he is so funny too, because he's going into this. Let me take her to this public place. Let me take her to this busy restaurant. And she goes, it's busy because it's Valentine's Day. And he goes, I didn't know that. Anyway, I'm breaking up with you. And then she goes, okay. And then he goes, this is the kindest way that I could think to do
well,
this.
the series of events is, if I remember correctly, she's going, wow, and he hasn't even commented on my dress. And the next line is, I'm breaking up with you. And I went, no way.
So funny. Yeah. And then she's like, on Valentine's Day? And he's like, I didn't know it was Valentine's Day. And she's like, but it's more than you just forgetting Valentine's Day. You forgot my birthday the last couple years too. And he's just going, this is the kindest way that I could think to do this.
Awesome.
I'm obsessed with him. That's bananas.
Oh my God.
And then they're like having this conversation. And she like gets up to leave because she's like, I'm embarrassed. I'm human. Everyone in the restaurant has just like shushed. They're all looking.
Well, I also would too.
At this happening.
I'd be like, hey man, I love you.
mean, yes.
But also a breakup is happening.
However, the fact that it's like this whole restaurant has just gone quiet and is looking at them, hilarious as well.
Yeah.
And then she like gets up to go and he's like, no, wait, and like grabs her hand and she's like, I just know that he's trying to save face basically by doing it.
Yeah.
And she takes her drink and throws it in his face. And then everyone bursts into applause.
And everybody claps.
And she takes a bow. This is bananas. I honestly feel like a tentacle monster wrote this because the way that this world works is like an alien coming into this.
And now what you're foreshadowing is a second novel.
It's true. Oh no. So all that happens, she like, and then she's like getting in her car and it's like starting to hit her of like, oh my God, like I got broken up with on Valentine's Day. She's like, I'm such a loser. I'm the only person driving home because everyone's out there with their Valentine.
And don't forget, she brought a vibrator to her date.
She did. She brought a lipstick vibrator.
This lipstick vibrator is very important to the continuity of the Tentacle series.
Yes. And this will come up again.
Yeah.
But I also think that that's just so funny because, like, I've never, I guess I can't speak for everyone, but never in my life have I been going, you're single on Valentine's Day? You loser! You pathetic, disgusting loser. And never in my life, when I was single on Valentine's Day, am I driving around going, I'm seeing no other cars because everyone's out with their Valentine.
So what is this society that is like, we shut down basically for Valentine's Day? Like everybody is paired up and indoors celebrating, and anyone outside, loser. Yeah. If anything, I'd be angry. Like her reaction should have been like, F this dude. Right. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'd rather have a tentacle monster than him. Yeah, and then her car breaks down. And she decides to go to the local park, and there's a cave in the park. Like,
it's like
make it make sense.
Wooded area.
Sure.
But it's like, yeah, her car breaks down, and rather than like, oh, let me stay in my car and like call for help, she just goes, well, it'd be too hard to like double back, which what do you mean? You're halfway at this point. She's like, I'm halfway to my house, basically. And she's like, it'd be too much to like double back. Okay. So she's like,
the dumb blonde joke.
I'm just gonna walk. I'm gonna walk the rest of the way. And then as soon as she like gets out of her car, it starts raining. Yeah. And then it starts like downpouring, and she goes, oh my God, I found a cave. I thought she was getting murdered. I mean, I knew she wasn't, but I thought she was getting murdered.
But that feels reasonable.
And then she's like, it's coming down so hard out there that like I might need to sleep in this cave overnight. What? The survivor skills. The survival skills of an infant, really.
No, truly. But then she's like sees a tentacle monster. She doesn't even care.
She doesn't even care.
She's like, oh my God, tentacle monster.
She's at first, she's like, oh my God, what if it kills? Like, she is like thinking like, should I make a run for it, whatever? But then she's like, he's wiggling like calmly. Because this thing can't talk. It's literally just tentacles.
Yeah. It has, well, we find out that the tentacle species eventually has a mouth, but like it cannot speak.
Yeah.
So instead, she's just interpreting the undulation of the tentacle, and she's like, well, it seems chill.
Yeah.
And then at one point, it's like going through her purse.
Sorry, before
like an animal, like a pet.
Before then, she starts like crying again. And she's like comments and like it reaches out to me and like wipes away my tear, and then she goes, it doesn't do a very good job though, it just left a huge amount of slime on
that
my
was
face.
Disgusting, by the way.
She's like, it comes out and she's immediately like, yeah, like slime is oozing from its tentacles, like dropping onto the ground, and then it's trying to wipe her tears away, and it's getting slime,
so she got slobbered on her face,
smegma all over her.
Ew.
then it starts going through her purse.
Oh God.
And she's like, those are car keys, like talking to it
Like a baby.
like a baby. And then it pulls out her lipstick vibrator and she goes, that's haha, don't worry about that.
And somehow it kind of knows. It like turns it on and is like undulating cheekily at her.
Or and then it unzips the back of her dress and she's like, oh my God, it's so curious.
It loves zipper.
It's so curious about like the human world and like all of our inventions. And then it like I don't know. I don't think it takes it. I think she takes it off because she's like, well, it is really wet. I should let it dry. So she takes her dress off and then it unhooks her bra and she goes, wait a minute. It's not curious. It's seducing me.
It wants me.
And she's like, oh, sure, I guess.
So here's my theory. No, you know what? I'll save this for the end. I'll save this for book 2.
Okay.
I think it's like, but I have a greater suspicion about the tentacle monsters. But yeah, so it like undresses her and she's like, you know what? I'm not getting laid tonight. I might as well F this tentacle monster. It's treating me better than my freaking ex-boyfriend ever did.
Yeah.
And so it I don't want to describe what it proceeds to do, but it gets down into her.
And it
hard.
like covers her. It's like she's like slimes all over my body. And I'm like, okay.
She's lubed up head to toe.
In this monster smegma.
And then it like, you know,
it's
uses its tentacles on her.
And it's using the lipstick vibrator on her.
Yeah.
It's going, here you go.
And now I was surprised that it didn't put a tentacle up her butt. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I thought that would be a
thing. It
thing.
just kind of like wrapped her up like a snake and then went, I'm going in. Here we go.
Oh, disgusting.
And then she went, I feel it's hot. I feel hot liquid and I can feel it pumping me with eggs. And her stomach is like actively getting bigger.
This was honestly
This
so
is
disgusting.
happening.
This is
horrifying.
not for me, bruh.
Horrifying.
I get that this is like kind of a sexy kink for some
like,
people.
You're not gonna. I mean, I can't talk, so I can't ask her. But like to be like, yeah, we're doinking, and then like, surprise, my monster eggs are inside you.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying.
I've been none too pleased.
I can't wait
about
anymore. The tentacle monsters, I feel like have a compulsion to them. Like first of all, they're on planet Earth, and no one seems to bat an eye. Like we'll find out in the next book. It's very common or normal to see a tentacle monster.
Yeah.
And like the moment the human woman like comes into its airspace, she's essentially like, yeah, I don't mind getting boned down by this tentacle monster. I think this is like a reproductory trap and it's just like some evil alien science happening here in the guise of a romance novel.
I would agree with that because there's really no other logical explanation as to why she's like, okay, doinking and getting impregnated by God knows how many monster eggs. God knows how that's coming out into the world. From her.
God damn.
But like, so all this happens, they're doing their thing, and then she falls asleep. She gets doinked so good, she falls asleep, and she wakes up, and the tentacle monster is like not there. And she's like getting her dress back on, and then he comes in.
Well, the dress is tight now because she's pregnant.
And she's like, it's my belly and whatever. And the tentacle monster comes in with a beautiful wildflower bouquet for her. And he gets like excited, like happy, and she's like, you're gonna get slime all over me again.
Ew.
And he gives her the flowers, and then she's like, I gotta go find my car. And then he just dangles her keys, and she's like, you fixed
She
my
somehow
car.
interprets what these little motions
These little
mean.
like, he's just doing this. And she's like, oh my God, you fixed my car.
How?
You lubricated the engine. Not joking. That is genuinely.
I don't understand how she came to that conclusion, but she's like, oh my God, you opened up the engine and you just squirted all over it and you lubed it up and you made it work.
She makes like a cheeky joke too. She's like, you're really good at lubing up the engine.
But just like imagine that, like I'm at my window drinking my coffee, looking out. I'm going, what is that? It's a huge boulder wriggling with the tentacles, coming all over a car engine, and then opening the door and getting inside. I'd put the coffee down and be like, honey, I gotta check myself.
Hey, get me out of here.
Like, what the dang hell?
When I tell you, when I had... Sorry, I got really excited. I was laughing so hard at the fact that she's like, you drove my car here. That I was like, this is the whole reason I need to read this out loud to you. Because I was seriously like tears streaming down my face. near peeing sitting on my couch reading this because I was like, surely not.
Truly, I was like, I think I pissed my pants. Like, this is so funny. It was so dumb. Because again, it's not even the tentacle monsters sending these in, because the image itself is silly, but it's her being like, and you drove my car. You drove my car. And, oh, you know how to slime so good. I know you slimed up my engine so good. And then she's like, yeah, maybe I'll come visit you in a couple months.
She literally gets in her car and is like, I'll come back and visit. And then she off. No questions about what's happening to her stomach or how that's going to work out. No, like, do you want these kids?
What do you want to come with me? Like, I don't know. Like, we should co-parent.
Yeah.
So
she's like, I'll visit this cave again soon. Don't you worry. And then she goes home and she's like, I'm going to go take a hot bath. That's the end.
That was my first foray into the tentacle
Same
genre.
What an adventure.
The eggs, like, I feel like I'm stupid for not having known that was going to happen.
No, I felt very shocked by that as well.
Right. Like, in hindsight, I'm like, I feel like that's like something that would make sense with this kind of like weird alien thing.
Mm-hmm.
But in the moment, I was like, eggs? What do you mean eggs?
Yeah. Huh?
Disgusting.
Huh?
And so then Steph really loved that novel. And so she was like, well, we should read the sequel.
Yeah. Because it was only 20 pages. And I was like, oh, hey, we can read 36 pages of tentacle porn. We can do this. And
the sequel is so effing ridiculous. I think I like it better than the first one. I'm not going to lie.
It's
not,
so funny.
It's so funny. Not as funny as the first one because the image of Oswald getting into the car is really good to me.
Oswald.
Like the big purple octopus or the blue octopus.
How could you do this to me?
That's really what I'm like. That's what I'm imagining.
Oh,
like him getting in his little car. But yeah, the second Tentacle Monster book is about a different tentacle monster. Our main character, again, whose name doesn't matter, is going on a date on Valentine's Day. And she's going to a restaurant to go on a date with a tentacle monster. She knows that for sure.
Yes.
She has, yet again, another lipstick vibrator in her bag. Because that's something that the women in this universe...
they come strapped with that.
Truly, they're like, I got my lipstick vibrator. And yeah, she goes on a date to a restaurant with this tentacle monster, and sexy stuff ensues at the restaurant, and then they go back to her place, and more sexy... His place. And more sexy and yet romantic stuff happens there.
Guess.
They have a beautiful moment of connection. I gave this one a 1 out of 5 again.
I also gave this a 1 out of 5 again.
Yeah.
I was reading for the first few pages just assuming this was the same bitch. Because again, was like mentioning like, okay, and I'm going to this restaurant. It's with a tentacle monster. I brought my lipstick vibrator with me. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is the same girl. And then nope. She's like, it's kind of unorthodox. It's with a tentacle monster. And then she's like looking around for him. And I was like, well, surely you know what he looks like.
Surely it's the tentacle monster.
Well, surely one, yeah, you would know what a tentacle monster looks like. But also it was like, you got filled by his eggs. So you should know what he looks like.
Oh, right.
But in this one, they find, like, because they give a little bit of an explanation of the like, what it looks like in the first one. But this one is literally just like, it was a big, broad boulder of tentacles,
writhing tentacles.
So yeah, my only assumption is just it's like tentacles coming kind of out of nothing. Whatever.
And he's a more sophisticated tentacle monster.
Yeah, because he's actually, hey, she's not going in a cave to find him. He's like, let me take you out, babe. Let me take you out, babe.
A restaurant. I got an apartment, like a proper apartment. We find out he's an author. Like she has like her favorite author. She brought his novel with her to the date, but she doesn't know this going in. And then when they get to his place, she's like, oh my God, you write? Oh my God, you're my favorite author, which is the part that my partner started laughing at. Like I was busting out laughing because initially I had read the part about the author thing to him out loud and then like continued reading as he was like playing some video game and then was like, you're never going to guess what's about to happen. And I was like, the tentacle monster's the author. And he was like laughing, like hysterically laughing because what do you mean the tentacle monster is sitting at like a typewriter with its like big meaty tentacles being like and she's like, I've never read prose as like beautiful and masterful as like what you've written.
She's like, oh, because he has so many tentacles, he's like, so because eventually they get back to his apartment and so he can communicate with her. He's doing like text to speech basically. And she's like, he's so fast because of all of his tentacles. And I'm like, there's no way. there's no way. These tentacles got to be so big and so clunky.
Right.
But whatever. But I do think okay, so they're at, let's rewind back to the restaurant.
Sorry. We're back to the restaurant.
We're there. She's like, I don't know. She's like, I'm here for my date. And they're like, yes, right this way, ma'am. Here's the tentacle monster. No one's batting an eye at this, as we've said.
Yeah.
And she's like so nervous, and she's like sitting there talking, and they like the waitress, I give her a medal. She's like there immediately. And she's like, do you know what you want? And he's like, wiggling. He's pointing at shit on the menu.
He's like this on the menu.
And this and this. And she just goes, I guess I'll have the same. Has no idea what he's ordered because he's just been pointing.
She's so
at
nervous.
stuff,
And to be fair, I too would be nervous that I was on a date with a tentacle monster.
Then they get their stuff out. It's like strawberry wine and a strawberry tart.
Which I didn't understand because in my head I imagined the strawberry tart was just like a strawberry toaster strudel type of situation.
Yeah.
But then later they describe it as savory. It's a savory strawberry tart. This guy loves strawberries, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And
very Valentine's, I guess.
Truly. And you'd think that they have like a fixed menu, but whatever. A big meaty tentacle. She's like, where is his mouth? And a tentacle comes up. And it's like,
I think in my head, it wasn't even that this was happening. It was just he put like one of his tentacles in like and nothing happens. It's just the liquid's going away. And she's like, so that's like your mouth? That's literally the line, by the way. I'm not being like hyperbolic.
So that's like your mouth?
So that's like your mouth. Cool. Anyway, like, don't know how they're communicating because once again, no talking happening. He's just like wiggling around.
Because during the date, he didn't think to bring his text to speech thing.
I guess
not. But
not.
I guess at some point, he's got a tentacle kind of like around
under the table
on the ankle. And she's like, oh my God, this is so fun. So he slithers up her puss and she fully orgasms at this restaurant.
And he's with one of his other tentacles feeding her. And she's like, I'm tasting flavors I would never taste before. Like, that's so funny to me of like, this guy's slurping around down there while feeding me. And she's going, oh my God, I've never tasted this taste before.
I like to think that this restaurant is like well versed in this tentacle monster's antics. They're like, so now she's about to get, yep, there we go. And it's her being like, oh my God.
And because something is clearly happening because everyone around is like looking at them. And then the waitress comes out and is like, oh my gosh, it's like, is everything okay?
Is the food okay? Like, you're making kind of like a huge reaction to eating a strawberry tart. And she was like, no, it's fine.
And then she goes, I don't want to be forward, but can I come back to your place as, okay. So he just had his tentacle up inside you and you're going, not to be forward, but can I come back to you? We're past that point. We're past that point of being forward.
Truly. He's puppeting you from the inside. And you're like, well, I don't want to seem like a big whore, but...
And she also, on top of the lipstick vibrator in her purse, she's like, I packed an extra pair of panties just in case. Maybe I get lucky.
Okay, whatever. Yeah.
And in her purse. We do a what's in your bag.
What's in your bag
and
for the tentacle monster women?
Vibrator. It's this book by this author, and it's a pair of panties.
And it's Karki. Ooh, Karki. Look at these Karkis. They go back to her place, and it's the same exact sex scene as the last book.
Yeah.
Like it not necessarily beat for beat, but it's the same. Like
it's the same.
No, nothing goes up the butt. The lipstick vibrator gets used again. Eggs go fully up into regions.
And once again, unconcerned,
unbothered by this. But unlike the last book where she sort of just like rides off into the distance.
After he fixed her car.
Yeah.
After he did such a nice thing and fixed her car.
She wakes up and he's making like strawberry pancakes. It's like Jack Johnson making banana pancakes, but it's a tentacle monster. And she's like, so how are we going to raise this together?
Yeah, like they're like basically there's not been a marriage proposal, but they're like married for all intents and purposes.
And they're like joking about being like parents together.
And then he goes, don't worry though, I thought you'd be burnt out on strawberries, so I didn't get strawberry juice. I got orange juice. And he goes, Cass, thank you. What's the fascination with just being like, I gotta talk about strawberries and I only eat strawberries?
It's their one inside joke.
This is the funniest part though. I think personally of this book is they're like this next morning, whatever, and he's like, I don't know, on the internet or something. I think he's doing his text to speech, but he sees like, oh my God, the restaurant that we went to literally last night just got like an accolade for their strawberry tart. And he goes, She goes, ha, strawberry tart. You would never think people would like this. It's like pineapple on pizza. What the are you talking about?
What's
I guess
happening here?
even if it's like a savory strawberry tart, strawberry is paired with like rosemary and stuff.
I was gonna say
all the
balsamic
time.
vinegar,
You
strawberry.
roast strawberries. You put yes. So
very
what
good,
do you
like strawberry bruschetta.
What are you talking about? So what are you talking about here? What do you mean? Like I would never
avant-garde.
have thought that people would like this strawberry tart so much. Also, why do we care about this?
I know.
Why do we
That's the
care
thing that
about
took me out. I
this?
was like, why are we getting like a next day culinary review of this goddamn strawberry tart? Like, wait, why do I give a shit?
Yeah, truly.
Unless they're gonna name 4 of their eggs like strawberry tart.
And you're gonna be named after strawberry tart, and you're gonna be strawberry wine, and you're gonna be strawberry pancakes,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be strawberry juice.
You're gonna be orange juice.
And you're the one that's getting killed off.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, exactly. It's the time I got drunk and saved the demon, which I was like, oh yeah, like that wasn't monster enough, so we decided to torture ourselves with this shit.
Just tentacles that can't talk, that just wiggle around, and you kind of guess what they're getting at.
So like, I don't think I'm gonna do this genre for a while.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want? There's more. Amber Fox has written more tentacle stuff. We
Good.
could keep going.
I saw because one of the covers is like a pregnant belly. And
That's
I went,
the second one that we read, though.
yeah, so I'm good. Like
Which
I'm
is
fine.
Part of why I thought it was just gonna be a continuation of the first. I was like, okay, it's gonna be her like pregnant now or
We
whatever.
find out what actually happens. No, it's like they get
No.
harvested later.
Yeah,
like they
I'm
come
like,
out of their bellies
she's-
like the freaking
she's-
like alien, and they're like, "Ha, la di da, strawberry wine," and then it becomes a horror novel. Like no.
In my head, she's returning back to the forest and she's just sort of squatting down and popping like full like chicken eggs out.
She's
And
going
then
full
they, like,
Yoshi's Island. And now Tentacle Monster comes out.
And
A little tangle up Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. But if you
Just
enjoy
little-
it,
they're not boulders yet. They're just kind of rocks.
mm-hmm.
They use their tentacles to just crawl their way out.
Oh, I'm throwing up. We gotta stop this. We really have to stop talking about this.
Why? It's my new favorite genre.
So you enjoy that in your free time.
Okay. So if you were a tentacle monster, would you drive my car back to me? Would you fix my car? Would you drive my car back to me?
I was gonna say something nasty. I was like, oh, I can put them up your butt. Only if eggs keep going up your butt. Otherwise,
the
what's
hell?
I'm not a nice guy like that. I'm like an alpha tentacle monster. I'm an alpha tentacle monster. No,
I'm not an author.
So
I
yeah,
don't- but I also don't live in a cave. I live in a mansion.
There's like no like critique I can give this novel because
Truly no.
it's truly so insane to me. Like there's nothing that I'm like, well, if it did this, I would like it better. I'm like, no, all of it is just.
There's nothing.
I gotta
you can
take
do.
it for what it is.
I don't think you could make this better without just making it a completely different book. Yeah.
I think I could have given it one more star if there was less eggs. Like the eggs were definitely a huge
Oh my
detriment.
God. The second one too was so much more like visceral about it too, because there's one point where she stands up and she's like, I can feel the eggs sloshing around.
Blah, 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 blah.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Dude, she's gonna be
She's
squeezing
gonna
those
be
eggs.
squeezing them out.
Yeah. Okay, calm down there.
All right.
Okay, so how would you rank this? Like your favorites to least favorite?
1-800-Cupid.
Yes.
Tentacle Monster. Their Virgin sorry. Chasing Valentine, their Virgin Valentine.
Yeah.
Because I did derive more joy from the tentacle ones than I did Chasing Valentine.
I know my initial thought was to put Chasing Valentine. Like I would do
Swapsies.
1-800-Cupid, the first Tentacle Monster book,
Oh, we're splitting them up.
Chasing Valentine, second Tentacle Monster
Well,
book,
fair, yeah.
and then because I had like I mean besides the fact that he's her favorite author, everything else was kind of like okay, all right, enough of this shit.
Yeah.
And
It
the
wasn't it
strawberry
yet. Yeah.
bullshit. Yeah. But that first one was just so
So funny.
and it was only 16 pages. I can't say I recommend reading it, but I think like what we already talked about is enough for you to be like that was great.
That's
What a
it.
good
Yeah.
time.
We gave you the highlights.
Yeah, but it was only
so-
16 pages.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, I don't know, try out a new thing. Like
yeah.
like we said
If
before, there's something you can find within romance that you'll like.
you want to laugh, I would say read it.
Oh my god, for sure. But that was our like Valentine's Day
Hey.
roundup of 5 stories that are Valentine's themed.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Valentine's Day to our open heart book club member watcher people.
Yay.
We
to
love
all
you.
of you. We love you. And hey, if you're single on Valentine's Day,
we're your
you're a
Valentine.
loser. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
We're your Valentine.
Yeah, we'll be your Valentines. I do love Valentine's Day though.
Me too.
I did not love the
I'm
way that we celebrated it this year.
So glad that we read this in celebration for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and hey, be on the lookout in case Cupid is chasing after you.
In case don't go into a cave.
No caves.
Wouldn't recommend it.
But yeah, happy Valentine's Day and thanks for tuning in. Bye guys.